How to bury your methods, how to disguise your methods even further. Now, this is going to be something that you're probably already doing, something that you do naturally. However, I think having a conscious understanding and awareness of how and why this works, it can help you when you're even trying to improve your routines or make changes to what you're doing if you really want to disguise your methods. Essentially, the human memory doesn't record video. Our memories aren't videos, they're snapshots, they're stills, they're screenshots. And even though memories may seem like they have motion, it's essentially our mind generating motion from the snapshot. And it's not accurate, it's not reliable. We cannot trust our mind to give these snapshots the correct, authentic motion that actually happened at the time. So when somebody is watching you perform, all the way through, their mind is just taking snapshots. And at the end, most people, they don't care about method. They will just react and experience it for what it was. But some people will sit and try and figure out how you did whatever it was that you did. So what they do is they'll just revisit the snapshots. They're playing the snapshots back to find one that stands out to them that could indicate what the method must have been. So all you need to do to bury your methods further is just give more snapshots. Well, it doesn't even really need to be more snapshots. Just make sure one or two of them are strong, too strong to get past, strong enough to make any other surrounding snapshots look insignificant. Here's a simple example. Let's say you have a marked deck of playing cards, you hand them to your participant, ask them to spread through, take out one they like and put it face down on the table. So they do that, and then as you reach for the box or for the deck, you can look down and get your marking. There's the method, right? The method is you're looking at a marking on the back of the card. But now, as you move the deck out of the way, you could turn around and say to your participant, look, I want you to listen to what I'm saying, but I'm not going to look at you. I want you to pick up that card, be very careful who sees it, and just make sure the person next to you gets a glimpse at it so that they know what the card is as well. Then once they know what that card is, put it face down on the table and then put your hand on top and then your other hand on top of that. Make sure nobody says the name of the card out loud, and I will not turn and look at you until you let me know that it's safe to do so that I can turn and face you without seeing either the front or even the back of the card. You wouldn't say all of that, and I know it seems like overkill, but it's for a reason. So that would happen. I already know what the card is, but now when I turn around and begin to reveal it, if they were to try and look for a method, they'll go through their snapshots and go, oh wait, the only time I had that card out in play was when he was facing away, and it was very specific. Because I made such a big deal about looking away while they handle the card, it's the most prominent snapshot in their sequence, in their collection, and they're going to be stuck on that. They won't be able to jump back earlier when they just took the card and put it on the table and I blatantly looked at it, because it was so small. It doesn't stand out in the sequence of events or the series of snapshots. So they're thinking, okay, well, no, he was facing away the whole time, and he was very specific about me making sure the card was covered from all sides before he even looked at me, so he couldn't have seen it. And that's how they are unable to get to the actual method, which is mark. They don't need to, even if you told them cards were marked at that point, they wouldn't believe you because you didn't even see the back of it, because you made this whole song and dance about covering the back of it, right? So there's just an example of adding in a snapshot, so you understand how the memory works. If you add in a snapshot that they will get stuck on, they won't be able to find anything else either side of it. One more example would be to do something that looks like it could have something to do with the method, even though it totally isn't. So for example, there are plenty of electronic impression devices out there now from loads of different companies, where you hand the board to someone and there's some paper on there and they'll draw something, and separately from the board you can see what it is on a screen or on your phone or something like that. But then if you just go straight into your reveal, if somebody did try to figure out what the method could have been, the first thing, and I've had this happen to me when I'm not using electronic props, the first thing they'll think is it must have had something to do with the pen or the board. And if you're using an electronic device such as this, they're not wrong if that's their guess at the method. So how do you make them wrong? Well, just simply don't make it as clean. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but don't make it as clean. Maybe when they tear that page off the pad, maybe they have to fold it up. Then ask them to place it face down in your hand. And then I'd put my hand on top of it like this and say, okay, now based on what I can feel here, I'm going to try and describe what's in there. Because now this becomes a memorable snapshot. This becomes a moment. So if they are searching for a method, they're going to go back to this moment. Maybe you saw it somehow and you definitely didn't. And they will not, if they tried it themselves, they're not going to figure out a method or find any sort of method here, because there isn't one. But at least now they're looking in the wrong place. Now they're not suspecting your expensive props, they're suspecting this moment that occurred right here. So this video is longer than it should have been, but I think I've explained everything you need to know. The memory works in snapshots, not videos, and all you need to do to bury your methods is to create snapshots that you know they definitely will collect, and something that their mind will go back to if they ever decide to try and figure out what the method was.